going to do a fantasy group promotion or YA or whatever the case may be. They're going to pick some genre and they're going to do promotion. It's up to them to decide what's going to be done, and then you're fighting with everyone else to try to get your book into that. And in many cases, it's a losing battle, right? I can't get in.
All right. We are rolling. Welcome, everyone. Brett here with Crave Books. And today I'm speaking with Kenney Myers. He is an author, the owner of a publishing house, a serial entrepreneur, an actor, and the founder of eBookFairs. Kenney, how is everything going?
It's going great. Definitely super excited to be here and talk with you and just kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, no, it's always awesome finding a new author tool and getting to learn more about it. And as I mentioned, Kenney's the founder of eBookFairs, which I found out about from Dale from Self-Publishing with Dale when he mentioned to me in our last podcast. And so I went over there, I looked at it, and everything looked really promising. One of my colleagues is using it right now. But before we get into all of that, I would love to get a little bit of your background and your journey and how you got into the publishing industry.
Sure. So, well, and I'm traditionally from the tech space. So I've been in technology startups for, 23 years now. So quite a long time. And so that had been, typically what I had done. And the only real creative stuff that I had done was a lot of acting. So I've been in a lot of those types of productions, a lot of feature films and sorts of things. But I was actually having a dinner with my wife. We were out for our anniversary, and I told her that I wanted to write a novel. So it's like, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to write a novel. And sure enough, I did. So I wrote a novel, and it was something a little bit different. It was a Norse myth. I'm definitely a real fan of that genre. But I wanted to write about something a little bit more off the beaten path than normal. And so I wrote about Bragi. So my main character really is Bragi, or a descendant of Bragi, which is the god of poetry. So definitely a very different approach to Norse mythology than just your typical Thor, Loki, those types of things. So had a lot of fun doing that. I really enjoyed the writing process. And it's very different, but it's somewhat similar to how I approached writing a screenplay. So it was kind of approached it from that perspective. It quickly got corrected by my editor, but we got through the process of creating the first book, and I was really excited about it. Right, so I did decide to self-publish just because I was wanting to do it relatively quickly. And that made that possible. So I did. I self-published it, and then I quickly realized I had no marketing plan whatsoever for the book. and so then I started really kind of digging into the industry. So that's how I really got into it, by just researching all of the tools that are out there to help self-published authors specifically be able to market their books. So I tried every newsletter service I think that exists, and similarly, I tried BookBub ads, I tried Amazon ads, I tried Facebook ads, I tried every mechanism you could imagine, and spent lots and lots of money. And what I realized relatively quickly was I was never going to get a return on my investment. So I had invested literally $5,000 before I knew it in a book that I was charging 99 cents for, and there's just not going to be a return on that. And so I think that was kind of one thing that woke me up to the reality that there was kind of a need in the space for something that was more portable and that gave authors a little bit more control over the whole marketing of their books. And so that reason fundamentally why eBookFairs got started was just to look for something that gave authors a good opportunity to kind of level the playing field a little bit against some of the larger publishers by working together in order to promote books. And so that's kind of how we got started. And I may have gone way over on that. I apologize if I did.
No. I mean, everyone has their origin story, especially authors. Getting into mine, I can go way back and it just goes on and on. So I totally get it. Now, it seemed like, and correct me wrong, it seems like kind of an untraditional route into publishing, which might kind of be the norm now with all the self-published authors out there. What did you know? Because you mentioned that there's that whole other side of marketing. What did you know about marketing going in, and what did you learn about book marketing?
Yeah, so I had a lot of experience marketing online properties because that's basically what I did or what I do. so I had a lot of SEO experience, a lot of paid search experience, a lot of social media marketing types of experience, and so I was very, very familiar with traditional means for marketing a consumer product. But that said, it's quite different marketing a book versus marketing a website. There are a lot of different tools that are available, and the market is pretty well dominated by Amazon. And so, because of that, you have to work with different players in order to be able to actually get your book out there. And so, I think that was the first lesson that I had to learn, was really all of the experience I had marketing everything else really was irrelevant. And I had to accept the fact that I needed to learn again how to do this correctly inside of the book space. And what I found in the publishing world is that there are some really, really great sites out there, and there are some not so great sites out there. So there are ones that if you don't know, and you don't when you first start out, you may end up giving a lot of money to something that's never going to get a return on your investment. And unfortunately, you don't know that, and so you can spend a lot of money before you know it, and you don't have very little that you get out of it. And so that's typically what I experienced. A lot of things that I consider to be a little unfair in the marketing space, around newsletters, around a lot of other types of things, and those are things that I was looking to remedy with eBookFairs.
So, eBookFairs, let's get into eBookFairs a little bit. What was the pain point that you discovered for yourself and other authors that led you to create eBookFairs?
Yeah, so what was working for me, I found out pretty early on with my book, was marketing on social media, my friends and family. So my friends and family were buying my book, which is great. Probably lots of reasons for that. but the problem is I only had a limited number of friends and family. And so I needed to be able to expand the network. And so I looked at different types of group promotion products that were out there, because there are a few that are out there. Some that are a little bit more rogue, where it's just kind of like Facebook groups that are working together to try to promote books to things that are a little bit more organized. There are some out there like Storage and others like that do provide products that help you do it. But that's kind of what I wanted to do, is to be able to say, okay, how can we take this concept of being able to work together to market our books and put more control in the hands of the actual author. So most of those sites that exist, they may have a group promotion going that will be that they determine, right? So let's say they are going to do a romance group promotion, or they're going to do a fantasy group promotion, or YA, or whatever the case may be. They're going to pick some genre and they're going to do promotion. It's up to them to decide what's going to be done, and then you're fighting with everyone else to try to get your book into that. And in many cases, it's a losing battle, right? I can't get in because I just don't do it fast enough. I'm not aware of it fast enough, or whatever the case may be. I lose the slots and I don't get an opportunity to participate. eBookFairs allows the author to drive. So authors can set up their own book fairs, as many as they want. So if I want to create a book fair that's specific to Norse myths, for instance, I can do that. And the advantage of that is if multiple authors like myself who've written a Norse myth get together and we promote our Norse myth fair, it's much more likely that we're all going to receive sales off of that, because if one of our readers or fans likes one Norse myth, they probably like the genre in general, and so it's much more likely that other authors that have books in that fair are going to get sales as well, because just because one author typically can't satisfy all of the readers, right? Readers can read much faster than we can write, and so it makes a lot of sense for genre-specific book fairs that the author controls. So they also curate it. So the author gets the opportunity to really be in the driver's seat. They can create a book fair. They can invite other authors into their book fair. They can decide who gets in, who doesn't get into their book fair.
Could you before you keep going any further, what exactly is a book fair for those authors that hear book fair and have never heard of it before? What am I getting into when I get into a book fair?
So another valuable lesson I learned is that is a term that's known in the space. And so, so book fairs for us are virtual. So unlike what you may find other places where you actually go and you have hard copies of your books that are, you're going to a book fair and you're going to display your books for hopefully a bunch of readers to come and buy your book. In the case of book fairs, it's online, so it's more like other types of group promotions you might see online. So readers get the ability to go to the website. They can read about each of the books. They can flip the covers back and forth. They can do a little bit of looking around and determine whether or not they're interested in it. In addition, we give them added incentives to be able to come to the book fair. So we offer a $50 Amazon gift card giveaway for every book fair. So that's the incentive for a reader to come and actually participate in the book fair. And then for authors, there's voting that goes on during the book fair. So it's basically a competition. You want to get as much traffic as possible to vote for your book in the book fair so that you can win Best in Show. If you win Best in Show, you win an additional marketing package from us with our partners. And so you get more marketing for your books if you do a good job of bringing traffic to the book fair. So everybody's incented. The readers are incented. The authors are incented to drive as much traffic as possible to the book fair so that we can hopefully get our books in front of a lot more eyes. And that's been working very well. So we'll get several thousand visitors to each of the book fairs. So it's a really great opportunity for, especially for an unknown author, to be able to get their book in front of readers that they would probably not be able to reach any other way.
And how many book fairs generally are going on? Can a new author come in and create a new book fair, or is it limited?
Yep, new author. As long as you are a subscribing member to the site, you can create a book fair. And once you subscribe, you can create as many book fairs as you want. The only catch is you have to get at least 10 books in your book fair before the book fair can be published. So you have to work a little bit in order to get enough books. And the reason why it has to be at least 10 is we basically calculated that's about how many we need to get the networking effect that makes it make sense for us to do the $50 giveaway and all the other pieces that we're doing associated with the book fair. So we need enough authors to be involved to drive enough traffic for it to make sense for us in order to do it as well. And so again, it has to make sense for everybody involved, right? And 10 is basically the number that we've determined we need to be at. And the max you can have is 30 books in your book fair. And that's just because it's overwhelming for the reader if you get beyond that. You have too many books, and it's also not likely to result in book sales for our authors if there's too many books in the book fair. So those are kind of two things that are there. And I know you didn't ask this, but one other thing that's significant about us, this whole concept of book fair for us is the word fair means a lot to us. So it's not just about a book fair. We want everything that we do to be fair. And so unlike a lot of other types of book marketing opportunities that you have, like let's say you do a newsletter. If you're in a newsletter with 20 other authors, you might be the first book listed. You might be the 20th book listed, but you paid the same amount of money, whether you were the first book or the 20th book. Guess what? The first book gets a lot more click-throughs than the 20th book does. And in our system, every single time the page renders, we shift the order. So your book has a chance to be the #1 book listed on every single pull, every single refresh of the page. So we give everybody an opportunity to have kind of equal, top 3 spots inside of the book fair, which are the most coveted spots. And we think that's important. So it's another example of how we try to be as fair as possible, so that we get the best results for the entire group of authors that are involved in the book fair, not just for 1 or 2 or whoever set it up.
And so the end goal, if you're an author marketing your book through one of your book fairs, is driving sales, correct?
It's 2 things. It's driving sales. The other thing that they get as a part of it is they can add to their email platform. So if they have an author platform, all of the giveaways, so people that sign up for the $50 Amazon gift card, all those are also co-opting into the author platform. So everybody that has a book in the book fair all get access to those emails, and they can then send emails to those readers. And again, if they've done a good job setting up a genre-specific book fair, that can be very valuable. So if I get, on a typical basis, if I have 10 books in a book fair, I'll get between 100 and 150 emails. That's a lot of emails for people that are interested in a Norse myth. That's a good deal. And if we have 30 books, we typically get between 400 and 500 emails. Which is, again, a lot of emails for an author to get, especially if they don't have really any emails currently, or they have a very small author platform. So after just a few book fairs, actually, you can have a pretty decent author platform going already. And again, you can reach out to them, not too much. Again, it's kind of one of those things you want to be careful with how many times you reach out to your list, but it does allow people to build their email lists in a way that I think is pretty unique too.
Yeah, I know at Crave Books, we do email list builders here, and I harp on email list are super important. What's your, do you have an email list yourself? What's your experience and with email lists? What do you recommend authors try to do with their email lists?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of things that we try to educate them on as it relates to how to use the email list. So they'll get emails throughout the book fair process and throughout their life of being involved in ebook fairs, that basically just kind of trying to guide them through it. So the main thing is to not reach out too frequently, even for our email list. So we have about 100,000 on our email list, and we don't hit them daily. We hit them up once a week with all the book fairs that are there, and we think that that's a pretty good interval for us to be on, because we do have 2 to 3 new book fairs launching every week. So that gives them the ability to see those new ones that are coming through. So I think it really is just about making sure that you're providing something of value, and there's a reason why you're emailing. It's not just emailing every day because you think it might work. It probably will just annoy them and get them to unsubscribe from your email list. So it's really about finding that right cadence, whatever it is for you. But in general, I think we try to stay at a weekly pace because we think it's pretty good. Or for our reading lists for our readers, we only send once a month a reminder, hey, these are the books that are on my reading list, just in case you forgot.
Yeah, I always say, if you're going to email them every day, you better give them a buttload of value. They're going to want to open that email for sure. So readers get a chance to win the Amazon gift card, and is that only if they enter, or are they automatically entered once they're in the book fair?
Well, they have to register in order to vote for books in the book fair. So that's kind of one way that we get them involved. But in order to be able to win the gift card, they do have to sign up for it, because they have to agree to the terms of the giveaway, basically. So that's important. And then we also do have partners that sponsor those giveaways. So
okay, and then I did notice, is there a reading like a read and earn program that is live right now? I saw something about that on the site.
Yeah, we do. We have a book review program, which is for editorial book reviews. So relatively inexpensive intentionally. Again, everything we do is to try to keep the cost down for the author and to level the playing field. So I'll answer that question by explaining our book reviews a little bit, because we're really excited about them. They're working really well for some of our authors, which is more important than anything else right now. So what we've had two authors last month that got some amazing results off of their book launch through using our editorial reviews. So one of the authors did order 20 editorial reviews from us, and he had 6 of them he posted on his Amazon account. So our editorial reviews are accepted by Amazon, so you can put them on your Amazon Author Central account. And he received, after 1 week, he was got #1 new release banner from Amazon, which is pretty great because that's all he did to market his book. The second one, we had the same thing happen for another author. He only ordered 2 editorial reviews. He also got a #1 release banner from Amazon. So we think that we have some pretty good proof that it's not a guarantee that it's going to work for you, because we can't do that, but it's certainly better than not doing anything. And those editorial reviews do show up. And we have a pretty involved process around making sure that those reviews are good quality. And that gets back to the paid review program. So we do have paid reviewers. We do screen them. Again, it's one of those things that evolved over time. When we first started taking readers, we weren't as picky as we needed to be, because we didn't realize that that's kind of another space in the industry that's a little bit shady at times. and so we found that there were not so great reviewers that were trying to come in and do reviews. And so we put in several measures to block that, so that now we have high quality reviewers in the system. So we'll get probably 10 or so people apply a day, and we'll take 1 on average. So basically it's relatively exclusive. It's harder to get into it. And what we're looking for is people that have some social influence as well. So one of the things that we require them to do is provide social proof that they also posted about the book. We need their accounts to be decent in order for that to make sense for the author. So it's just an added benefit that the author gets. The main thing is the editorial review. We do require them to also post socially about it, which also keeps them honest too, right? So it's like, you're going to put your name behind this review that you're doing. So we think that that's also important, again, to be fair to the authors and just to make sure that everybody understands that's an authentic review, right? I think that's what's really important in this industry right now, is making sure these reviews are authentic. We do screen them very thoroughly. We have a pretty intense process for book reviews. So the way that our review program works right now is author, when they submit their manuscript, we scan it with our own LLM. So basically we created our own large language model. It doesn't go anywhere. Nobody gets it. So it doesn't go to OpenAI, or nobody, it doesn't go anywhere else. We scan it, we summarize it, and we generate review questions off of it and an answer key. So what ends up happening is those reviewers, when they come in, they have to answer the questions about the book. We want to know they read it. And we also bounce it against it contextually to see, does it make sense? So does their review actually contextually make sense with what we believe the book is about? So we screen it a couple different ways that way. We do grammar checks, spelling checks, all of those types of things. We do plagiarism checks to make sure that they didn't plagiarize the review. We also do a check to make sure they didn't use AI to generate the review. So if they use AI to generate it, they can't submit it. So we go through a lot of measures to make sure that our book reviews are as good as they possibly can be. They're not perfect because, again, it's difficult. It's difficult space. So what we try to do is make sure that we make authors aware of it, and they're the ultimate stopgap, right? So basically, if there's a problem, they're the backstop. If the review is bad, they can report the reviewer, and we can take action on it. So we, again, try to do everything we can to make it as good as possible. And again, that's kind of that whole concept of fairness all the way through. If you get a review from us, you should get a fair, good review delivered to you, right? That's important to us. And so and that's something that we do stand behind. And we make it hard for reviewers to be able to get reviews in. But if they do it well, they do everything right, they do get paid for doing the reviews, and they get paid promptly. So typically they'll get paid the same day or the next day, which is kind of unheard of in the industry. Generally, it takes a long time for reviewers to get paid. We pay them pretty much right away, as quickly as possible, because we do realize they have other places they could be doing reviews, and we don't pay them a ton of money. And so it's kind of one of those things that we want to be as quick as we can and as fair as we can be with them as well. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna. And one of my other questions I was gonna ask is, how do you make sure that these people aren't coming in and gaming the system and just making money generating AI reviews? But that definitely explains it perfectly. And now you need so much more extra layers of protection with all of this AI that's come in to make sure that they're getting good reviews. And speaking of reviews, why, like in your author journey, or why do you guys put so much emphasis on reviews with book marketing?
Yeah, so we actually did a pretty in-depth study on it, and looked at a bunch of research papers. We have some blog articles on it on our site. But it is directly correlated to book sales. So the number of reviews is directly correlated to book sales. And so we know it's important. The question is, what types of reviews are important? How can you tell the difference between a bogus review and a good review? Because we don't put any authors at risk either, right? So sometimes they might be tempted to buy a lot of reviews, for instance, on Amazon from, maybe Fiverr or some place that's really, really cheap. The problem with that is, if it isn't done correctly, Amazon could ban your book, right? So there's some serious danger into playing this game the wrong way. So that's why we chose to use the editorial review process, because we do pay the readers. And so because we pay the readers, we have to disclose the fact that they've been paid to review. And that's also important. So I think again, it's all those things. It's just about trying to be on the up and up. But what we do know, not only from those research studies, but from our own evidence from our authors, right? So we see them getting badges and things like that on Amazon, which do make a difference. If nothing else, it makes them feel really great, which is sometimes exactly what an author needs, right? So
Definitely. No, and reviews are so important. That's another thing I say, aside from email list, is if you're shopping on Amazon, put your feet in your customer's shoes. And if you come to a book that's got 2 stars and you come to another book that's very similar with 200 reviews, sorry, not 2 stars, 2 reviews and 200 reviews, which one are you going to lean towards? Probably the one that has 200 reviews.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I use reviews all the time, and it's really good social proof, right? It's one of the best things that you can have, and it can be hard, especially for new authors, to be able to get reviews. So that's one really great use, by the way, of your author platform. So if you have a lot of emails, that's a great use for your emails.
Exactly.
Encourage people to write reviews.
Well, I'd love to keep chatting about everything, but let's wrap this up. I like to wrap it up with a couple quick rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
I'll give you a sentence and you just finish the sentence in 1, 2, 3 words. All right.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. The most important lesson I've learned about book marketing is?
It's hard work.
When I published my first book, I wish I had known
that I needed a marketing plan.
One marketing strategy that has significantly increased my book sales is?
I would say editorial book reviews.
One thing to keep in mind when reading your reviews is?
You have to have thick skin.
Yes. In 10 years, I see the world of self-publishing
think it's going to be radically different because of AI.
Yes, I agree. There's going to be a lot more AI books and a lot more AI books that need to go. I
Yes.
think we're going to see we're already seeing a flood of AI books coming in, and we'll see what Amazon and these companies do to kind of put a wrap on those things and make sure that they're quality books. Because I mean, can't really say no to a book unless the laws change around AI. So it'll be very interesting, very interesting.
For sure.
Anyway, where can people find ebook fairs? Where can they find you?
So you can find eBookFairs on Twitter at eBookFairs. That's we're very active on Twitter. I guess X. Sorry, still not used to that. Yeah. You can also find me pretty much anywhere. So at Kenney Myers, it's Kenney, which is a little bit strange. But you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can look me up on IMDb if you like movies. And you can just find me lots of different places, but definitely would love to connect. It's always fun to talk with different authors and just see what their experience is and see how we might be able to help them.
Awesome. Yeah. Check out eBookFairs and go look at their site. If you're a reader and you watch this, if you're an author, definitely go over there and see what they have going on and test it out for yourself. Thank you so much for coming on, Kenney. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope that we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Brett. I really appreciate it. And look forward to seeing how it turns out.